in this job and in this industry and every job I've been in, I really try to learn what it is I'm dealing with. I
Mhm.
want to know as much about the product as I can. I've always been known in every sales job that I've had, every management job that I've had. I mean, being an engineer, I guess, helps, but I've always been known as a very technical person. It's not just widgets to me, but I really want to get in and understand, what is this product?
Right.
What makes it valuable?
Yeah.
How is it different and similar to other things that are out there in the market? I've always tried to, very early on, every job I've had, I find the products and immerse myself in the products. And that's why I would say I think it's helped me learn what it is you're talking about. I mean, you can look at numbers, and I'm a data driven person. I like that.
For sure.
Helps me in a general management role, but it doesn't, help you avoid getting your hands dirty, basically, and saying,
Yeah.
hey, what
Yeah.
exactly is this product? Why is it not working?
Hello, and welcome to the Elevator Careers podcast brought to you by the Allred Group. I'm your host, Matt Allred. When talent is mission critical, call the Allred Group. With industry expertise, top talent, and exceptional customer service, you need the Allred Group on your side. Your priority is our priority. Call now, 404-890-0445. In this interview, I sit down with Gerry Adams as he shares his multifaceted career journey from mechanical engineering and chemical sales into the elevator industry. Gerry delves into his experiences managing business operations and sales in the elevator sector, highlighting the challenges of transitioning mid-career, the importance of hands-on learning, and the need for high-quality training. Gerry emphasizes the value of technical knowledge to create success, and he encourages newcomers to ask questions and immerse themselves in their work. Gerry, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Hey, Matt. Appreciate it. Good to be
You bet.
here.
You
Yeah.
bet. No, I'm glad to have you. It's always a pleasure, and I definitely enjoy these conversations. So thank you for
Yeah. Looking forward
participating
to it.
today. So I
Awesome.
just wanted to start with tell me something exciting you're working on right now.
Well, as I mentioned, I started a YouTube channel about a year ago. So I'm working on my next episode of the YouTube channel.
Nice.
I'm making a pencil post bed out of cherry.
Wow.
So I was down in the shop actually tapering the legs. Came up, put on a nice shirt for this interview.
There you go.
So I'm down, like, I've already glued up the blanks and whatnot, not to get all into it, but I'm tapering the legs now on my surface planer. So that's my next episode I'm working on, is how to make a
So
pencil post.
you're not only building furniture, you're recording it, you're sharing it with the world, you're
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
others. What
Yep.
do you call your channel?
Woodworking with Gerry. It's on
Right on.
YouTube. Yeah,
Right.
let's look at Woodworking with Gerry. It's about 1,500 subscribers now.
Nice.
About 58 videos out there. So yeah, so that's what I'm working
Now you
on.
mentioned to me that you had a furniture business years ago. Like before you got in the elevator industry, you were kind of doing handcrafted furniture, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's I started. Opened a business. It was like, I don't know, 2006 or so, something like that. I started it. So as I mentioned, that's how I got into the industry. My business wasn't around long enough to survive the economic downturn of 2008. But
That was a tough
yeah,
one.
I had a business making custom furniture, cabinets,
Mhm.
and helping folks like remodel their homes and whatnot. So I kind of like do crown molding and finishing, trim carpentry, that kind of thing. So yeah,
I
did
mean,
that for a while.
you're a pretty multifaceted man, right? To do, elevator industry and building your own furniture and your YouTube channel. And so tell me about your early career. What did you do back in college? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, well, I have a ME degree. Went to Purdue University.
Right.
I grew up in Indiana, so I got a mechanical engineering degree from Purdue. And I started out in the chemical business. They had an interviewing kind of trade show type of thing on campus called the Industrial Roundtable,
Sure.
and a company named Hard came on campus. They're now BASF, and gave me a job offer out in New Jersey. And I grew up in a small town in Indiana, Anderson, so I was anxious to get out. And they hired me into their environmental engineering group, but I went on into their chemical business. So I spent time helping them design catalyst systems for utility plants. And then I went on into the sales side, selling specialty chemicals and minerals for paints, plastics, and that kind of thing.
Wow.
So that was
Yeah, that's a little bit different than mechanical engineering, but I guess, hey, if you can do the engineering core work, you can learn it all, right?
in engineering school, I had some trepidations about that early in my career, but the biggest thing professors would tell me in school is that we're teaching you how to think. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah, that's basically what I would apply, from that
Well, in the way,
upbringing.
the way life changes, technology changes, I mean, you got to constantly be thinking, learning, growing, or you're going to fall behind no matter what you've studied.
Right, exactly, exactly. You're constantly doing that. And one thing about mechanical engineering is that we used to joke in school, as an ME, I can do any engineering job, but if you're aeronautical or electrical, you can't do my job. We used to have this old, school thing back and forth. Like
Okay.
civil engineers are much more focused on electrical and aeronautical and chemical and whatnot. But
Okay.
mechanicals, they kind of go over
You
everything.
cover it
So
all. You're kind of the generalist engineer, right?
exactly, exactly. So that helped out definitely.
Very
So
cool. Very cool.
yeah.
What are some of your crazy stories from working in the chemical industry? Because I can't imagine. I mean, that's an interesting industry. I've not been in it, but you've got to have a
Yeah.
few.
I mean, again, out in California, I sold specialty chemicals for paints, plastics, highway markings, and whatnot. And in the sales role, every now and then, not very often, thank God, but every now and then, customers would return some of the chemicals to my house. I
Oh
worked out of my
wow.
house, and I recall one time I got some yellow, like lead-based paint that was used for road markings back in my home.
Oh wow.
So now I'm figuring, what do I do with this? I tried to say, don't return it here. Send it back to the plant, but I don't know why they did that. But sometimes they do that. So that was, didn't happen very often, but that was crazy. I open the door, I see this stuff, I know what it is right away, and now what do I do with it? Kind of
Well,
a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean, I don't know all the rules around that, but I know that there are trucks with special placards that say, "Hey, we are licensed to carry this stuff." And you probably didn't have that on your car,
Oh no, not at all. They wouldn't
nor did you
handle
want to.
it. Exactly. I can't go to the post office, and our plant, is in Ohio. So it's like, okay, now what do I do?
Oh my
So I called
gosh.
my boss, and we kind of worked something out basically, but couldn't just throw it in the trash can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's fascinating. So, how long did you spend in chemicals before you kind of transitioned in your career?
Well, I was in overall, I'd say about, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 years. Because
Hmm.
after I left Engelhard, I went to work for Sun Chemical,
Okay.
and that was mostly printing ink at the time.
Interesting.
And so yeah, I spent several years at Sun. I left actually a sales role in California with Engelhard and took on a general management role with Sun Chemical in the Boston area, running their Northeast
Wow.
operation. I just graduated from business school out in California, and I got a great opportunity with a different company, so I decided to leave. And well, came here to Illinois the first time in like '98 for a year of training,
Okay.
and then moved me to Boston after that to run their ink operation in Boston.
Gotcha.
So
So, how long in chemicals? Sounds like two chemical companies in a row, and
yeah, exactly. That was about, like I said, it's about 9.5 years at Engelhard,
oh, okay.
and
Yeah, yeah.
probably about 4 years at Sun Chemical. I think it was something like that.
So, how did you end up getting involved with the elevator folks? I mean, that's a little bit of a departure.
Well, like I said, I had my furniture business. When I was with Sun Chemical, we had a major shakeup. Basically, I lost a national account that I had. I got promoted to the national account manager there, so I was running R.R. Donnelly's business, and R.R.
Okay.
Donnelly, we know, is kind of no longer in business. They're a big newsprint company.
Right.
So at the time when that business went south, my team was let go, and I had started woodworking. I actually spent some time at Home Depot as a store manager,
Hmm.
but I really wanted, at that time, I was really starting to really get into woodworking and enjoying woodworking and building and that kind of thing. And I had a small business on the side. I did furniture shows and whatnot. And I had the opportunity just to cut loose from the regular 9 to 5 and start my own thing. And I went for it.
Oh,
And I had a lot of business. It was starting to get to the point where I was working, had so much going on. Had to make a choice, basically.
no,
What are
I
you
can
going to do? Are you
imagine.
going to do one or the other? And I really love woodworking, still do. So I decided to start a company. Custom Wood Accents was my company, and went for it to start building, because I help people either flip houses, did some
Oh,
trim
wow.
carpentry, but most of my business was furniture and cabinets.
Gotcha.
And yeah, right before, I don't know, I guess it was early 2008, business humming along. I'm about to think about hiring somebody, maybe in 2007. I can't recall when it was. But anyway, business is going great. And all of a sudden, things started going south. And I started having orders being canceled. People saying, hey, I'm sorry, I was going to buy this. I can't. And I understand. So it's like, I was down to like 2 projects. I had one house I was working on, making like a vanity and whatnot, and someone else doing like crown molding. And that was all the work I had.
Yeah. Yeah. No
And
new,
so I'm
no
like,
new
okay,
stuff coming in, right? It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. Nothing else coming in. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. So I looked on monster.com and found a job opening at Schindler. Actually, it was Adams Elevator.
right.
I didn't know it was Schindler for this job as business unit manager. So I thought, why not?
Right.
And applied, and I got it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life is going to throw you curves, right? And it sounds like you've been around a few of those, right? I mean,
Exactly. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, when I interviewed, I wasn't sure. I had never worked in the elevator industry before, so I knew nothing about elevators
Right.
other than riding on them or escalators. So, kind of a funny thing, I was interviewing and I was still working, trying to get these jobs done. And I recall I'd gone through a couple of interviews, and I was up all night making a bunch of cabinets for this job. My living room was full of cabinets, and I worked all night, and I had an interview at Adams the next morning. So I get done working, and I didn't really sleep. I take a shower. I'm
drink
going
some coffee, whatever.
yeah, because I'm half thinking I'm not going to get this job. I don't know anything about elevators, but my interviews are going well.
Right.
So I get my truck and I drive to Niles, and halfway there, I realize I still have my work signs, magnetic signs on my truck.
Right.
That say custom wood accents. So I stop at a Walmart parking lot. I take the signs off of my truck, put them in the back, and I run in and got the interview and had the interview, the second one or whatever it was.
Right.
And got home and got a call, and I got the job. And I was like, wow. And I said, when can you start? Well, I have one more job I got to finish up. So I got the work done.
Right.
And started right after my birthday in 2008. So
awesome. Awesome. What's the most difficult thing about joining the elevator industry mid-career? I mean, obviously you'd had a great career, you'd managed a lot of people and done a lot of things, but to step into this industry not knowing anything,
right,
and say, okay, hit the ground running, it's like, whoa, what was that like?
It's a challenge, but one thing I would say is I put the time in to learn. I knew one of the things I've worked in, I've had a few different roles in my life, and the way everyone learns differently. And when I get into a job, the best way for me to learn is to be thrown in, sink or swim. Training is good, and it's very, very important and critical for a lot of jobs. But at some point, you got to start doing the work. I learned by doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And actually, one kind of like challenge happened early on in my career here. I was hired at Adams to be business unit manager of the operation. And about a year or two, maybe 3 years after I was hired, Schindler decided to close the facility in Illinois and move to Ohio. And my manager at the time decided not to make the move with the business. So he came back. He was the manager of Adams. He hired me to replace him, and he went on to Schindler, the Schindler side.
Okay.
But when he didn't move to Ohio, he ended up coming back to Adams. So my business unit management role became more of a sales management type role.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And as you can imagine, I was a little upset about that in the beginning. Sure. But I took it as an opportunity to kind of jump in and like, okay, so I'm going to get out and meet customers and learn the business, learn the products.
Yeah.
And I would say that even though, it was a little bit upsetting in the beginning, it worked out to my advantage, because by the time I took over the job again as general manager for the business, I had spent several years meeting customers, selling the product, getting an education on the products I was, managing. Sure. That I would not have gotten had I stayed in a senior level management type job from the beginning. Because when I came in as a business manager, again, I didn't know much about the products. So I had to, manage the business, the marketing, the technical support and all that. And at that point, some limited manufacturing. having no real knowledge of the product. So that was a major challenge. So
Yeah,
when I had to get out and start selling the product and meeting with customers and going to shows and joining, elevator associations and talking about the products and whatnot, that forced me to learn the products at a level that I would not have done had I just been the manager from day one
for
on.
sure, for sure. I mean, it sounds like it would have been a challenge to uh, I guess be as successful. The second time around, you were a lot more successful because you had a lot more tools, you had a lot more
Absolutely.
time. That
Exactly.
first, that first go, if you'd have just stayed there, it probably
Yeah.
would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
a lot more painful all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, and I was definitely thrown in. And I recall when I started, I told my manager the same thing. I said, we had training and orientation and whatnot, but I said, I learned by doing. So he said, here's your office, filing cabinets, go at it.
Go do.
And, whenever I start a job at that, my first few days at work are long days for a
Oh,
few weeks. Because
weeks,
I'm just
months, right?
you're trying to absorb everything and how do I categorize this information? What information is important? What's, urgent, not important, that whole
Yep.
thing. And then what crisis do I have right now? And, how do I behave in such a way that allows myself to grow and not be a totally different person in 6 months? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't want to be inconsistent in your leadership, but when you start out and you don't know anything, how do you manage that? So again, that's the first few years of that, but it worked out after I got into focus more on sales and, like I said, getting out and learning the products, meeting
For
people
sure.
and whatnot. And then when I went back to that, I had a base of knowledge that really helped me be
And
successful.
yeah, and you had been successful in sales, so it's just a matter of kind of
Exactly.
learning a different business model, some different widgets,
Exactly.
some,
Exactly.
but
Yeah, exactly. So that
but
worked
how
out.
to talk to customers, and even if you don't know the
Exactly.
solution, hey, I can understand something's wrong. Let's
Right.
fix it.
Exactly.
Right? I might need
Right,
to ask
exactly.
somebody.
Right. Exactly. I know who to ask. I have resources. I know where in the company to go for help.
Yep.
I know, you meet people that way. If you're not in the corporate situation all the time, kind of just looking at numbers, but getting out and meeting people and then going to different plants and things like that, you meet your support network inside the company
Hmm.
that's going to help you solve customer problems out in the field. So that worked out actually. So
Yeah, that's cool. One
yeah,
thing I like about what you're saying is learn by doing. Right? You said that a couple times, and what I'm
right,
taking away from that is kind of this attitude that I'm just going to throw myself in there. I'm going to take the responsibility. I'm going to put it on my shoulders. I'm not pointing my fingers at anybody else. I'm not waiting for anybody to show up and deliver
right,
something on my desk. I've got
right,
to get out and really, and you said it, kind of immerse myself in this business, or I
right.
won't even know what questions to ask, and I won't even know.
Exactly, exactly. I recall, I was early on. There was one product that we sold called Life Jacket. It's a
Hmm.
hydraulic safety device, and I had
Yep.
to sell it. And all I'd ever done was read the manual on how to install it. I said, this is not going to work. So I got a hold of a company, and I, was in a position to say, hey, I'll give you a really good deal on this if you let me just come out and just watch your guys put it in from beginning
Help
to
me
end.
understand what it is.
Exactly. I'm not going to sit. I'm not going to help you. I can't. I just
Right.
want to sit here and watch your guys from beginning out of the box to testing it, put it in. And I did that. And I drove south side of Chicago every day for like a couple of weeks or a week or so.
Yeah.
So I just sat there and absorbed. And that was such an eye opener
Yeah.
from me from reading the manual. And now I talk about, I go to shows, I can like, okay, I've seen this thing go in. Even just, once is not enough, but I would then go to other jobs where they're
Sure.
having issues. Well, let's go to the elevator. Let's just go check it out. Not sit in your office and tell them what's going on. Let's go look at the
Love it.
unit and see
Yeah.
how it's working or not working. And I would take pictures. I mean, I made videos. I one product that we sold. It was a landing system that I was trying to develop with another company, and they allowed me to come in with my phone, and I just like took a bunch of videos and I narrated and put notes.
Nice.
I said for training, but for me to remind myself 6 months from now what I saw. And I just would like really go around taking a bunch of pictures and videos on my iPhone because just, again, I learn I'm a visual type person,
Right.
and as I say, learning by doing is a good thing. That works for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Reading about
So
it's great, but I got to do it.
I'm the same way, right? Gotta get as
Yeah.
close to my hands on it. Like you said, I can't touch it. I'm not a licensed mechanic, right? But
Right. Right.
got to get as close as possible and smell the oil and ask all kinds of
Exactly.
questions. I mean, I'm sure you peppered them with questions, right? As they're
Oh
putting it
yeah.
together, like, what is that?
Yeah.
Why do you have to
Right,
hook it up that
exactly.
way?
And things don't work out. It's like, what happened? And okay, oh, you don't read about these things, and you see, oh, how'd you fix this? And again, it's those experiences that help you, and your common sense and whatnot, and being mechanically inclined, helps. I can kind
For
of look
sure.
at things and say, okay, that makes sense. I know why you're doing that,
Yep.
and it helps me put the puzzles together when I go out and then talk about it with somebody else. My mind is not just recalling what I read,
Right.
but I'm
Right.
recalling what I saw and
You
what I
saw it.
what I've dealt with.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if we could whittle that down to one thing, what would you say you would attribute your success to the most?
I would say perhaps that. I mean, I really in in this job and in this industry and every job I've been in, I really try to learn what it is I'm dealing with. I
Hmm.
want to know as much about the product as I can. I've always been known in every sales job that I've had, every management job that I've had. I mean, being an engineer, I guess helps, but I've always been known as a very technical person.
Hmm.
It's not just widgets to me, but I really want to get in and understand what is this product,
Right.
what makes it valuable,
Yeah.
how is it different and similar to other things that are out there in the market. I've always tried to, very early on, every job I've had, I find the products and immerse myself in the products. And that's why I would say I think it's helped me learn what it is you're talking about. I mean, you can look at numbers, and I'm a data driven person. I like that.
For sure.
Helps me in a general management role, but it doesn't, help you avoid getting your hands dirty, basically, and saying,
Yeah.
hey, what
Yeah.
exactly is this product? Why is it not working?
Numbers don't always speak to your customer, right? I mean, you could
Exactly.
quote statistics all day long, but if you don't have enough knowledge with, okay, the difference between this product and this product is, and be able to really articulate what the difference
Right.
is, and then, they can kind of decide from there.
Absolutely. And that goes for knowing your competitors' products as well. It's not being negative or whatever to understand your shortcomings. It can help you in your development efforts to know this is where I'm weak
Yeah.
in this product, or at least it could be a real weakness or perceived weakness on
Yeah.
the part of the customer. But understanding that will help you address it.
There may be reasons why they want to choose the other person's thing, but that might build some credibility that, you know what, in this particular thing, maybe the
Right.
product is better than ours.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, you run into that. I mean, you're not always going to have work for the company with the best products. It's just the way it is on every level.
Right.
So
Right.
that helps you in valuing your product, selling it, pricing it, marketing it. And so yeah, learning the products, the facts, the myths, how your
Yep.
customers view it, your company, all those things are very important.
Well, at the end of the day, they may choose your product not because of the product, but because of you, because they trust
Absolutely.
you and
Absolutely.
and the way you've treated them. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
yep, very cool.
Reputation is important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, couple questions as we kind of wrap up. One is what are some of the biggest challenges that the elevator industry faces from your perspective?
I would say, training, train personnel. I mean, I know it's not the same on the side of the business I spent most of my time or all of my time on
Mhm.
parts, as mentioned earlier. As this equipment gets more advanced, not only will the industry need better trained mechanics to support the equipment, but parts companies will need better talent, better trained talent to support the mechanics
Sure.
in that field. So I would say training. Again, it goes back to formal training, the training that an individual takes upon themselves when they enter into a business to get their hands dirty, so to speak. But I would say that's probably the biggest challenge facing the industry. I think is training and talent,
Yeah.
getting the right people with the right knowledge in the right positions.
Yeah. I think that's the eternal challenge, right? And especially as
Exactly.
as some of the great, knowledge is retiring out and,
Right.
new talent's coming in. It's I don't see that one going away anytime soon, but I would love to know if you have any advice, any thoughts. What's one thing you'd like to see more of in that regard?
Well, I would say a big thing companies could do is cross-training. And I've seen this in different industries that I worked in different roles. When you come into an organization, and you're looking at your talent pool and the challenges that your business has, I've had many times where I've had these people in these positions, and with some conversation, open-mindedness, I say, that person is really good in this job, much better in this job. And with some training and encouragement and coaching, I've had great success doing that, and always welcoming in new talent. Even if, they're not 100% on day one, if they're coachable and they have the basics, you can do a lot with someone who wants to do a lot.
Very true.
And I would say that's something for any company. If you have an organization right now looking at your talent pool, look at your whole talent pool. Just because someone is in this job over there right now, obviously the job is, certifications and whatnot, you think about that, but don't think that they couldn't do just as good a job in a different area. And even having people in a certain area, cross trading, I think, is very important. That deepens your bench. It strengthens your team, because people within the organization get a better understanding of what other folks are doing.
For sure.
It's not that those people over there are screwing things up. They understand, what other people are doing. And yeah, you can develop some strong talent you didn't know you already have in that way. And then, going to schools and whatnot, getting people who are young in technical field. That's happening, I think, some now with internships and things like that. There's a lot of schools out there. I'm sure. I never thought about the elevator industry ever. They never came on campus. That I think of. It was, back in the day when I was there, it's a lot of defense.
Sure.
Companies were coming on campus, on Purdue's campus and whatnot. But you can go to colleges and say, hey, have you ever thought about a job in the elevator industry? And even like a person with, coming out with at Purdue, we had mechanical engineering and mechanical engineering technology degrees. You had technology degrees in engineering. I'm not sure how it is now, but I can certainly see someone, going to a school like that and saying, hey, would you like to come or intern or whatever? And again, I'm not sure how it would work from a union standpoint, but basically start as a mechanic or some type of role like
some
that,
kind of
technical role, and then move over into something else. Getting someone early in their career, because that's something I know that I would have dove at had I had being the person that I am to learn at that level. That's something I would have jumped at, early on in my career to learn, and then use that knowledge to go on in the organization. That's a no-brainer.
Very cool.
So that's something I would do as a company right now. Look at young talent you could bring in and train like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So the last question I ask, and maybe you've touched this a little bit, but what advice would you give to those who are maybe brand new, or maybe they're coming like you, they're coming mid-career? What would you say to them?
There again, learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask a bunch of questions. Make a fool of yourself early, especially if you come in mid career like I did, or even early on. Yeah, ask a lot of questions and learn. Don't be afraid to ask a question that you think is a dumb question, because I guarantee you others have the same question but aren't asking.
Well, and if you ask it early on, right? Hey, it's a legitimate question. If you ask it after 5 or 10 years, it's like, are you kidding me?
Exactly. That's the thing. Exactly. Make a fool out of yourself early. Because if you wait 5 or so years to ask a question that you should have asked 5 years prior, then they will get the funny look. Like, okay, what else don't you know?
Right. Right. Yeah. So don't be afraid to ask questions. What I'm hearing.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Yeah. Awesome. Learn as much as you can. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Gerry, thank you. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you being with me today.
Likewise. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks, Matt. Good talking to you.
Likewise. And good luck with your furniture business. That sounds like a great place for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Going back to work.
Thank you for listening to the Elevator Careers Podcast, sponsored by the Allred Group, a leader in elevator industry recruiting. Please visit our YouTube channel @Elevator Careers, or check us out online at elevatorcareers.net. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, stay safe.